call upon Srinivas to kindly share his thoughts. What really made him stick, and how, as an individual, he could able to see his journey started as a professional innovation practitioner. Srini, can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks, Tito. And frankly, first of all, I'm so glad to meet everyone again. It appears, Tito, like we were together, to see Dr. Sergi, Dr. Shankar, and also Ishant, Vinay. So it appears to be a very good, collaborative session. So thanks for that. And no, like Tito, like you mentioned, right, I had an opportunity to contribute in multiple sectors, right, from space research to nuclear energy and then into medical devices. And being a DFSS black belt, it was a full-time role. I'm also a process guy, right? So I'm, worked into the lean area, been a lean leader as well, and into the reliability side as well. So the first exposure, to be frank, I would say is that because I knew Tito, way back in G, and then he started this institute within India, and that's when he approached me and he said that, hey, the methodology for innovation, I knew about TRIZ, but then, he asked me to join this for one session. He said that you'll do great, just join this. And that's when I got my, somehow the organization was also, during that time, it was new to the organization itself. So I did my first level of TRIZ, and then we picked up a problem, and a very interesting problem on how do we kind of move a system which is 300 kgs, right, into the medical devices. If you look at the ceiling based radiology systems, it's close to 300 kgs, and today if you look at it, there's close to 5 kgs of force that is needed to move the entire system. And then we wanted to come up with something which can move the entire system with a single fingertip. So I kind of challenged Tito and Dr. Sergi. Okay, so let's see how TRIZ helps in this, and then did a quick function based modeling. Try to understand several elements, and each time I used to say, hey, nothing has come out, right? I mean, it's not coming out. The solution has not come out with all the contradictions. But then, when they continuously guided, Ms. Dr. Sergi and Tito have been throughout, and they continuously guided, whenever we approach them. And then basis that, as we moved forward, we really came up with those resources which we had neglected. So in fact, not only with the function model, when we went into the advanced algorithms, where we looked at all the resources and then how we can utilize these resources, we identified that, and I'm talking about it because it has also been published. So then we identified, there are certain accelerometer which were there. If you want to move any system, ideally it will be with the huge load cells. And as you are aware, right, I mean, in these devices, you do not have the space or we cannot add additional weight, right, to move this. So when we looked at it, we had, accelerometer within the system, which was used for some other purpose altogether. And then, okay, how can accelerometers be used for moving this huge weight? That's when we further dipped into the details, and after going into the algorithms, we came up with a mechanism using the Newton Cotes method, where which converts acceleration and the velocities were used as a feedback loop for the entire control system, and the accelerometer itself was placed into the control handle. So so there was so this technique kind of it helped us in terms of not only coming up with a very simple system, filing multiple areas, multiple subjects in that context. This was first time that these kind of novel methods were used. Apart from that, the means about the conference, right? So we also wanted to look at the S-curve analysis, and then what is the future of the digital radiology systems. And today, if you look at it, the way we can look at the next NPI is either it comes through the marketing or who do the market trend analysis, and which is again, which is short-term based, right? When we look at, however, when we look at the main parameters of value using the S-curve, we look at more from a voice of the product than the voice of the customer. So the product itself, like Dr. Sergi says, the product itself says that, how it wants to move ahead. So whether the designer likes it or not, or whether the engineer likes it or not, the product will evolve by itself. And that is exactly, what we kind of conceptualized. We looked at all the data from past 50 years, how the products have evolved, and tried to plot how the NPIs have been coming up in the past several years. And we tried to plot all these parameters where the developments are happening, and then we could predict what the eventual development, where the curve would eventually take us. I think that was significant. I mean, the way we look at it, and the way, so several tools, several important tools of, TRIZ have helped a lot, not only in terms of coming up with these forecasting, but also with solving problems, solving real problems, coming up with patents, that is another area. And then also, looking at the various critical analysis of certain things where we do not have, there are a lot of constraints around. I think that made the whole difference. So we have been actively utilizing those methods right here in the current setup with current organization of BD, and a lot of those progresses are happening, and it gives a different thought process. So that's a journey. When initially I was reluctant, and then and it helps to solve. So today, there's more. It has become more of a thought process rather than a kind of classroom training. It has come into the thoughts. Okay, the moment there is a problem now, we look at the contradictions. We have filed multiple ideas also, within the current organization as well. We look at these contradictions, then immediately it comes, what could be the next step, and I think that's how the entire methods help. So again, thanks to you and for continually guiding.
Srini, so it's a leap of faith here. You started and you experience the value, then it stick to you.
Absolutely.